Hi lovelies, my name is June Jewel. I am typically going to be posting art related videos. Sorry for the graininess of this particular video. I'm not in very good lighting and it's on my iPad. However, today I'm going to be posting a video of my aspirational permaculture food forest kind of random plant. It's not random. It's premeditated. It's thought out, but it's kind of still. It's growing. It's in its first season. We just moved to New Mexico August of 2020, and it is currently May 2021. So we've been here 8 months, which is so far I've only really planted in the greenhouse successfully. I did spinach and kale, which we had a fair amount of throughout the winter, so that was good. But now we're getting into spring and things, as you will begin to see, are turning green. And so I planted some trees, potted trees from a local nursery, as well as some bare rooted trees from online, as well as a bunch of seeds from online and from a local nursery. And this is me just trying to figure out how to garden in the arid high desert of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. So with no further ado, I would like to show you my property a little bit and show you all of the things that are beginning to green and look beautiful, and got plant life in my hair. Yeah, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm going to take you on a little tour of my future food forest. So at this time, whenever it rains, all the water from that truck all the way down here and middle of the road, so lots of water coming in, is going through this trench and accumulating in this pond of sorts. It's going to be more of a mulch pit. Then we have, this is a Anna apple tree with her guild right here. I'm working on right now it just looks like a big mess, but I'm going to be putting some native trees in there and shrubbery, as well as getting some new ice plant. I'm working on getting some new ice plant over here. I think I'm pretty much killed this, but I didn't have butter out here at this point when I had put that in. So right now we have this Anna apple. It's recently rained, so my trenches are not as particular, not as defined as I want them to be. So this is a PVC pipe that is dug underneath up until about maybe 2 or 3 inches away from the base of the base of the tree. So I put about half of the water in this to kind of get those plants that are living around in the guild, and then I put about half of the water into the pipe to help establish the roots deeper down. This is one of my 4 Three Sisters beds. I have one over here as well. This one is some Native American seed, heritage heirloom seed from Michigan from one of my neighbors. And then this is just regular Walmart bicolor. Well, actually, I've got some from online as well. This is my second or third that you've seen. Three Sisters. So in this one I have, and that one I have the 2 the corn and the beans planted in 8 different spots, actually 7 different spots. They didn't come into this spot right here. So instead I planted watermelon, but I think now that the corn is coming up. So watermelon will kind of act as my squash as well, covering the ground. And in this one, I went a little bit crazy on the pumpkins, but I have 9. I have 3 times 3. 3 sisters, so corn and beans, 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 corn and beans. Yeah. And then back there is pumpkin, and then I'm gonna wrap them around wherever they want to go. And then this is my, this is my Fuji apple tree with her guild. And right now she's got some sunflowers that are gonna protect her from that western sun. And I've just put like a mulch basin kind of around that so that the roots don't go that way. And I'm thinking about continuing that around this way as well. And then as these break down and are watered, it's going to produce soil, but until then the roots will hopefully go downward. And I'd ideally like to do that all the way around all of the trees. So also I have some nasturtiums and some beans in here as well. I had a lot of other things, but they seem to have died off a little bit. Then I have a row of, it's really hard to see, a row of pumpkin right there, and those are really coming along. And then this is my oldest bed of 3 sisters. So I think this one has 9 as well, maybe 12 actually. And then in between I've placed mulch, all kinds of homemade compost, some mulch, and then some sticks from a bush that was dying to help kind of protect it. It was early on protecting it from the birds getting the seed, and now it's protecting it from losing all of its moisture. At some point I would like to dig this out to there. That will all be gone, but the trench comes in around here and meets up where we saw it coming in on that side of the street. So I'd like to have it come back down to this Bonanza peach tree. This is one of my happiest guilds. I think the happiest guild. It's a what is it? A dwarf tree, so it won't grow very tall, but I planted seeds, wide variety of seeds all around all of my trees, and this guild is the happiest. So I've got comfrey. I'm not 100% sure what that one is. I've got a couple different amaranths, a sage, some more nasturtiums, some more green beans. We're gonna have a lot of green beans. Some peas back in the back. Some lamb's quarter, which I did not plant, but it is welcome to stay as long as it's not keeping the sun from any of the other plants. Then behind the tree, I have a strawberry plant and another comfrey. Then we have over here, it's kind of hard to see because it's not really well defined. I have a flower bed there that's going to hopefully attract some good bugs. And so when I water this tree, it's got like a guild basin, kind of mulch basin around it. And then the water goes down into that mulch pit that we saw earlier, which is now where some seeds have fallen into. So the water comes down here, and so I've planted seeds all throughout here. So I'm really hoping that this will be a bit of a garden plant, and I'll serve as a dual purpose. So we'll take the leftover water from here and it will also water these plants. And right now we just figured out a way to do a gray water system, laundry to landscape, and see how this, I believe this one is a cottonwood, oh it's so blurry, is shading all of this area, so it's really happy over here. And it shades from the afternoon western exposure, so the things on this side of the tree seem to be a little bit happier. Anyway, so we're doing the laundry to landscape, and the way that we do laundry is we have our two households. So my mom's house and my household laundry is more than enough to both water this, and then also I'm going to be filling that basin with other mulch and things, and so the leftover water will go in there. And I'm gonna actually have to dig this out because at our last rain I found that it's not quite big enough to hold all the rain from the water or from the street. So I'm going to place all the leftover water from each day into this basin, and it'll help compost and break down the sticks and the mulch a little bit easier. I still have to figure out, there's a little bit over there. I still have to figure out this area along the side of the house, as well as this area in front of the shed. Obviously that area I told you about before up front. But I hope to do very little watering because I have a 50-foot hose for the gray water and it does not reach over there. So I will transport water over there, but I'd like to not have to. So once plants are established, that will be hopefully a space where it only gets the rainwater from the street. So I have rainwater coming in from here from the street, rainwater coming in here into this kind of native basin, which I have to carve out a little bit more, and the water coming in from there. So I'm really trying to make the most of the water coming in from the street. I know that it will have some toxins. I have some birds right over my head. But I hope to plant out the trenches as well, so that it can kind of help filter out the water as it comes in. That's it from here. Moving on to the side, I have this beautiful, I looked it up and it is apparently a white poplar, and it is reproducing. So this is a white poplar, and then this is also a white poplar, though the leaves are really different. They came up as identifying as the same thing. But we had to make a cut in the root to my shed, as you can see all the cords and stuff. A cut in the root, and there was so many of these popping up. I decided to leave these two, but I had to pull out all the other ones. This is supposed to be my flower kind of welcome center for all the bees, but nothing so far. Anyway, so I had to pull about 12 from around the this looked like a bush, more of a bush, but it ended up being like 12 different trees. And I put them in a planter. I don't know if anything's gonna happen with that, but who knows. And then we walk through, and I have my busted irrigation system that went off today. That is not fun, but okay. So now we have Thompson's seedless grapes, and then we have the only remaining blackberry bush of like 4 blackberry bushes. This is a volunteer bird of paradise, and then this, where is it? This stick, which was not doing anything for a long time, is finally producing some leaves. And this one is a blueberry grape plant. between here because I had this like extension of irrigation from here to there. I put some pepper plants, and those are the only ones. I think those get shaded more than all of these died. But oh well, I had so many that were given to me generously by a neighbor. And then I've got some strawberries there. I need to get a cover for that one. I had a number of strawberry plants in this bed, but I kind of neglected it to start, and they departed, unfortunately. This here is another white poplar that has volunteered itself. This is supposed to be all my flowers, but I just pulled a bunch of ice plants out of there. There's another Mexican bird of paradise. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Some mustard, some more mustard. I'm pouring a lot of weeds out of there. This, I believe, is my echinacea coneflower. I'm not entirely sure what this spine is, but I'm thinking I'll keep it. I think it was already existing here, going up that hole. Then we have raspberries, 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 and then there's another raspberry plant that's right there, but it's not doing as well. Possibly because this pumpkin has moved in, volunteered itself. I had trenched this whole front area, this whole patch here, with compost last fall to kind of help prepare this bed, and this pumpkin is doing incredible. It is so happy. It's probably one of my happier plants in the whole thing, and it looks like it may already be getting some blooms. Anyway, moving on over here, we have this bed, which is peppers, some sweet, some spicy. See if I can get that through. Actually, I'll go around because I have to show my other apple trees. Okay, so pepper, lots of weeds moving in. I have not weeded this at all. I may try to do more kind of sheet mulching of it. This one is my dwarf Granny Smith. This is the only tree that I have on irrigation currently. All the other ones are watered by hand. I have more comfrey, whatever that is, possibly another pumpkin, but I think that's because of the mulch or the compost. Strawberries, more comfrey, more nasturtiums, some peas, and some volunteer sunflowers. I did not plant those. Then over here we have like the thicket. I have to go through here and clear out all this stuff still. This is, I believe, wolfberry, and it goes around the entirety of my shed, and I'm trying to eradicate at least this area so that I can have a future bed here. But that's maybe a few years project. So this one is my pink lady apple. It's a little bit hidden in the bush right now, but this one probably gets the least amount of watering, but it's doing fairly well still, it seems. It has the nasturtiums seem to be coming up everywhere, and also maybe those are green beans. This is where like everything catches from the wind, so there's like all kinds of mulch and newspapers and things from other parts of the yard. But I think she'll be alright. And then we'll go in the backyard. Before we go in the backyard, this all under here, that is a globe mallow, which has found its way in here. That right there is a pepper plant. I thought I had that pretty well covered with shade cloth because it was pretty taut, but now it's kind of coming apart. Then this me see if I can get these. This whole area here, these are bird of paradise, Mexican bird of paradise, and there's more. There's all throughout here. That's my like need to wood chip pile way back there. Some purple asters, which I did not plant, but happily welcome. The bees are loving them. Oh, and as I am walking by my porch, I can smell the honeysuckles. It is so beautifully fragrant. Cannot even, I wish it was like smell-o-vision because it's just so good. Anyway, so at the base of these, I'm not sure exactly what that tree is yet. I've yet to identify it, but my stepdad, who had this land here first, he was a little worried that it was gonna die because it had this sunburn, but I'm not too concerned. It's doing pretty well right now. Then this is my, hopefully will trellis over the walkway, peas, beans, and there was supposed to be some cucumber, but I want to say that might be tomato right there. I don't remember doing that, but might be another volunteer. Who knows? All right, back to the backyard. Okay, so this poor sad little stick right there is a pecan bare root tree. It took me too long to plant it, so hopefully it comes back to life, but if not, it was kind of an add-on. Then we have, oh, my finger, there we go, a grape vine with some comfrey, which I just planted. It will die off, but it will come back. I'm not too concerned about that. And we have along the fence here another grape with another comfrey I just planted. So the goal is to have the grapes go up the fence and across the fence, and I'll put like wires between so that it can kind of come that way, and then potentially over the walkway. I'll show you the beautiful mountain view from my backyard. Anyway, so this is a desert willow, which was looking pretty sad, but it's coming back to life. This is my tumbling composter, which is full of flies right now and getting full, but I'm gonna find a place to trench the whole thing, bury it in the ground, and put some worms with it and forget about it, and then it will be beautiful soil next year. This and this are all potatoes. There's so many potatoes growing in there, it's not even funny. Then we have ice plant. I'm not sure what these bushes are, but they are super thriving back here. So this is the Christmas tree that I bought for my mama. I thought it would be fun to watch the kids grow with it. And so it's got some new blooms in there. I have to plant it in the ground there in the middle, which means I have to kind of take out some of the ice plant to get through there, but I think it's gonna look so good that way. And we have a chased plant right there, as well as right there. It's not cannabis, although it does look like it. There's more potatoes, some sunflowers, some onions, and then comfrey with my pomegranate. So this pomegranate, my stepdad, he said it's not a flowering, it's not a fruiting pomegranate. It's not going to do anything. I'm not expecting it to. I don't have to clean up the mess. It'll be great. But it has some blooms on it, so I'm excited. If there are pomegranates on there, that means we get pomegranates. And so when I discovered those blooms, I decided to do a guild in there as well. So filled with seeds of all kinds. This is in need of a mustard picking, but that is rosemary. I'm not entirely sure what this tree is. Got a little weedy friend right there. And then we come along this side, and we have onions and potatoes, and more onions and more potatoes. I think some peppers in there as well. And some wheats. And some volunteer asters and paper whites. And we're gonna go to the way backyard. Under the laundry. And there's oh, this is another really super fragrant one. China berry tree. And it is smelling so good. And we go back here. And this was supposed to be, it's blurry right now, this whole area, including the paper that's blown over, was supposed to be creeping thyme, but I don't believe that I watered it as much as it needed to be watered. I thought it would be fun to have the kids have the grass. Anyway, this is a grass alternative. This is a desert willow. And come back here. We've got a tree of heaven, which is highly invasive. I only know because I had to pluck a bunch of the desert willow babies out of the ground. And this is going to be all flowers. I've just put a ton of flowers in there. There's a bunch of other stuff in there, but it's kind of whatever happens, happens. This is my sub-pod baby with all my worms. And my kale, which has gone to seed. I picked a bunch of other ones, but this one sadly was kind of, did not taste as good. So I don't know if I should even let it go to seed. But this, I seeded all in here, and it's looking like it's going to be a little bit too much. I don't know what was in there that's not coming up, but this is kind of coming through a little bit. Nasturtium, some more nasturtium, some green beans, possibly, maybe cucumbers, I think. Some chives, which are looking kind of sad because they're not really getting very much sun back here. Then we have on this side ryegrass, because I'm having a hard time killing it. Not because I'm trying, but because I don't want to. And then we have sunflower, some asparagus, another strawberry plant. I had a bunch more in here, but then it frosted, killed a bunch of stuff. There's some volunteer mustard in there. Some field peas that I put there as a winter crop to kind of help the soil, but they never came up then, so now they're coming up. There's some pretty pea flowers in there. And then a really tall asparagus. Some more strawberries. Look at this onion baby. It is huge. That thing is like 4 feet tall. Maybe not. 3 feet tall. It's big. And we have this asparagus, which is kind of like trying to tickle everybody as you walk by. I planted so many seeds in here. Nothing's really coming up, but again, not really much sun. Lamb's ear volunteered. I'm not entirely sure what that one is, but I think it is another sunflower. I did sunflowers all in here. Hollyhocks. And this is a lilac bush, which is not ever bloomed here. This year's looking healthy, but no blooms. But maybe next year. Who knows? That would be nice. We'll just talk to it and love it until then. And I'm going to come around to my most neglected part of the garden, which is our outdoor living area. Well, the whole place is our outdoor living area. But this is, we just planted this as kind of like a afterthought. And it has romaines and broccoli, tomatoes, and I think that's an oleander. But I need to get back here and mulch this whole area. It gets watered, but it doesn't get very much sun. There's another onion. There was onions between each of these. Only one I think is coming up. But it just doesn't get very much sun, and it's looking fairly healthy, but a little bit sad at the same time. My daughter loves cherry tomatoes, so she's been picking the green ones, trying to eat them, and they're not very good, as she has found out. That's it for the tour for now, and I will keep you updated as things progress. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and you got to see a little bit about what I'm doing here in the Truth and Consequences High Desert. And I would love to hear your thoughts, any advice, any ideas as what for me to do. If you have any questions on any of the methods or the plants or anything. I planted so many things, and a lot of the things I don't even really know what it looks like. This is my first real year gardening. Like, I've done pots of strawberries and pots of romaine and chives and things, and rosemary and some other herbs, but this is my first year, like, really truly starting to do a thoughtful garden, and hopefully it will become a food forest where my family can just go around and pick grapes and kale and spinach and carrots and all kinds of things. So hopefully within the next year or two, things will begin to really take off. Already, since I got here in August, things are looking way more fruitful, and there's a lot more soil life going on, and we figured out a gray water system, so we're going to have a way to water things in a more eco-friendly manner. And we still have to do the rain collection barrels. We're going to do hopefully IBC totes if I can get a hold of them. And there will be more about this food forest to come. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Much love, June.